We saw probably the biggest upset of the season in Week 6 with Vanderbilt taking down Alabama. So how about Week 7? Will we see more upsets? Will we see another massive upset? That is the question. And I keep telling you guys, it usually averages out. So the way we've done this for several years, it usually averages out to 2 of the 8 games that we give you in these videos. 2 of them turn out to be upsets. And we were right on that average with 2. And then Week 5, we only had 1. Well, in Week 6, we had 3. 3 of the 8 games that I listed in the video last week were upsets. We saw Syracuse upset UNLV. We saw SMU upset Louisville, which I did say was the most likely upset to happen. And then the other big one was Arkansas upsetting Tennessee. That was in the video last week. I did have Tennessee on upset alert, and they did, in fact, lose. I did not have Alabama on upset alert. I don't know if anyone did. That was a shocker for sure. I mean, it was just a huge upset. So I don't know if we get anything big like that this week. Maybe we do. Let's get into the 8 games that I think where teams should be on upset alert. And again, we're not picking these upsets to happen. We're just saying that these teams need to be on upset alert. Watch out, because out of these 8 games, more than likely, 1, 2, 3 of them will turn out to be upsets. And like I said, that average is normally 2 games per of the 8 every single week. So we're going from the least likely to most likely. And again, to be an upset, the spread has to be 4 points or more. There were a bunch of games where the spread was 3.5 games that I kind of had on my radar. Thought, oh yeah, I'll use that game in the video. And then, yeah, the spread was 3.5, so I can't use it. So yeah, it was kind of tricky this week, but I think there are still plenty of options. And we're going to start again with the least likely, then work our way up to the most likely. And the first game is Florida, Tennessee. This game is at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Tennessee favored by 15.5. 15.5, that's a big number. That surprised me when I saw that number that high. I would have expected it to be closer to maybe 10. Florida coming off of a big win over UCF. You look at the teams that they've lost to: Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M and Miami. Those teams are pretty good football teams. And with Tennessee, maybe they're a little bit overrated. You see them go in and lose to Arkansas. That offense is struggling right now, so I don't think they're going to score a ton of points in this game. So yeah, that number is big. Now, will Florida actually pull off an upset? I don't know. It doesn't seem super likely to me, but I think there's a chance. And Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway playing both those guys at quarterback is interesting, and it seems to be working out pretty well for them. They've still got talent. When you look at these 2 rosters and you compare the talent on each roster, and there's not a big advantage for Tennessee in my opinion. So yeah, I think Tennessee's the better team, and they're playing at home, so it's hard to see them losing. But stranger things have happened. So yeah, put the Vols on upset alert. And also, how do they bounce back after the loss to Arkansas? That's a big question here as well. Next we go. All right, Louisville on upset alert again after being upset last week by SMU. This game's at 3:30 Eastern time on the ACC network. Louisville is favored by 7. I honestly don't know how good this Virginia team is. When you coming into the season, they'd be solid. They wouldn't be a pushover. They're playing at home. This is a big opportunity for them to get to 5-1. So this is a big game for Virginia. And then for Louisville on the other side, what's the mental state of this team after losing to Notre Dame in a game where they had some opportunities, and you lose to SMU last week? Where are they at? Now, they shouldn't be giving up on the season because they only have 1 conference loss, and everything is still right there in front of them. They still have a great shot. If they win out, they're going to be in the college football playoff. So, I wouldn't be giving up on the season if I was Louisville. But again, you wonder about the confidence going into this game. Virginia team coming off a big win. So yeah, I think this one could be interesting, and it wouldn't surprise me if we saw an upset here. Next, we've got Utah, Arizona State. This one's at 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Utah favored by 6.5 on the road. Arizona State was one of my surprise teams in the preseason. So far, they have they've proven me correct. They've been pretty solid, and I expected them to surprise people this year. They have. I think Utah fully healthy with Cam Rising. I think Utah is still a better team here. But the game's on the road. And again, I think that's why VC Vegas, they've got that spread at just 6.5. But the story is Cam Rising. Is he going to play? I haven't really heard anything. It seems like every week it's like, Well, maybe next week. Maybe not this week, but maybe next week. So I don't know if he's going to play. If he plays, I would expect Utah to win this game. If he does not play, could definitely see them losing. Again, Arizona State, they've got a good defensive line. They've got a good run game. I think this is a sneaky team. So watch out for this one. Wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw an upset there again, especially if Cam Rising does not play. Texas, Oklahoma next. The Red River rivalry, 3:30 Eastern time on ABC. Texas favored by 14.5. And if you've analyzed football this year, if you've watched these teams this year, you would say, yeah, Texas, there's no chance they lose this game. But it's a rivalry game. Oklahoma's had an extra week to prepare. You look at Michael Hawkins, he was kind of just thrown out there in the game against Tennessee, played against Auburn, but didn't have a whole lot of time to get ready. Now he's had more time to prepare. They've had time to tweak the offense. Going to need some receivers to step up, obviously. But I think it's going to be, if Oklahoma's going to pull off the upset here, it's going to be because of their defense. They've got a really good defense. They've got a lot of talent. If they can slow down this Texas offense enough, if they can come up with some special teams play. I think that was that last year when they had the block punt? Or I can't remember what happened in that game. I remember there was a block punt. But a play like that, a special teams play, a defensive touchdown, a pick six, a scoop and soar, something like that. Oklahoma has the talent on defense to make this game very competitive and potentially pull off an upset. If Texas plays clean, if they play their A game, I'm going to say no chance they lose. But they might not. And again, rivalry game, anything can happen. Next we go to Penn State, USC. This one's at 3:30 Eastern time on CBS. Penn State's favored by 5.5 on the road. Penn State's looked good, but still not really seeing that explosiveness from their offense. Have they been holding back? Are they going to let it loose here in this game? USC has been really up and down, just game to game. At times they've looked good. They've gotten off to slow starts. I think Penn State's a better team than Michigan. USC lost to Michigan, so you would think Penn State would win this game. But again, it's college football. Penn State might not bring their A game in this one. They might have some mistakes. They might have some turnovers. USC, can they take advantage of those? I think this is a talented enough USC team that they could win this game. And again, Penn State, they might have to open it up a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to win it by being super conservative. And so that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a big game this weekend. There are several big games this weekend. We got Vanderbilt, Kentucky next at 7:45 Eastern time on the SEC Network. Kentucky favored by 13.5. Vanderbilt coming off of the big win over Alabama. How do they respond? Kentucky, I believe, coming off of a bye week. I don't remember them playing last week. Kentucky's a better team. And I know people are going to say, well, look at Vanderbilt. They just beat Alabama. Well, I think if you compare these rosters, Kentucky still has the better roster. They've started to find some things in the passing game with Brock Vandagriff. They've got a solid defense. They've had time to prepare for this unique Vanderbilt offense. So I think Kentucky will be ready in this one. But I tell you what, Diego Pavia, he's just a baller. And, he could make enough plays in this game for Vandy to win. I wouldn't count Vanderbilt out of any game that they play the rest of the season. I don't know what to expect for sure. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. And again, Pavia, maybe he makes some plays and pulls off another big win for Vanderbilt. Next, we got Kansas State, Colorado. This one's at 10:15 Eastern time on ESPN. Kansas State favored by 4. It's just the speed and the athleticism of Colorado. Is that going to cause some problems for, the fundamentally sound power football of Kansas State? Travis Hunter, can he maybe get a couple of interceptions from Avery Johnson, who has not impressed me a whole lot in the passing game? It's really going to come down to Colorado stopping the run, though. That's going to be the key here. Can they do that? I don't know. Kansas State's got a very explosive run game. That's going to be a challenge. And then on the other side, can Kansas State's secondary stop the passing attack for Colorado? I think it's going to be a great game, and it's a game I could really see going either way. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. And then finally, Arizona BYU at 4 o'clock Eastern time on Fox. This one also should be an interesting game. BYU has been living off that defense and that run game and, making big plays, special teams, all of that. If that's not there for them, if they don't get some big plays on defense, or if they don't hit some explosive plays on offense, I could see Arizona winning this game. Arizona still got some playmakers on their side, on offense for them. And so that's going to be the matchup. Can Arizona score on this BYU defense enough? I think this game is close either way. BYU's only favored by 5.5. Also, pressure building for BYU a little bit. I mean, they're undefeated. Do you see that possibly coming into play here? And it seems like everything's just kind of gone right for BYU. Is this going to be one of those games where it just doesn't go right for them? We'll see. But I think you got to put the Cougars on upset alert here. I think Arizona really probably has the better overall roster. They've got the better quarterback. So it would not shock me at all if to see Arizona pull off the upset here. In fact, I think it's the most likely upset that we could see here in Week 7. Again, we don't have Ole Miss, LSU. We don't have Oregon, Ohio State. The spread's too low. Everybody always comments on those types of games. Again, spread has to be 4 points or more. But yeah, I think we could see some more big upsets. There might be a big one that I didn't mention. If you think there's one out there, let me know which one it is. But those are my upset picks, or at least not picks, but the games where I think teams should be on upset alert here for Week 7.